Hello, my name is Yulia Kolpak, and in the following video, I will be deconstructing the game League of Legends. League of Legends is a free-to-play MOBA published by Riot Games. Since its release in 2009, League has taken over the online gaming scene in ways that were completely unprecedented, becoming the most played PC game in North America and Europe in 2012, and reaching an estimated 100 million active monthly players just 4 years later. The game arose out of a mod for Warcraft 3 called Defense of the Ancients, with the aim of bringing a more polished and user-friendly version of the mod to the community. League of Legends may have helped pioneer the MOBA genre, but its continued success cannot simply be owed to its game design alone, considering that since its inception, the genre has expanded to include titles such as Smite, Heroes of the Storm, and of course Dota 2, none of which have managed to achieve the same level of popularity as League of Legends. But before we dive deep and attempt to figure out why and how League has become so successful, I want to make sure everyone is familiar with the general premise of the game. Although the game has several maps and modes, the most commonly played map is called Summoner's Rift. The map features 2 opposing teams, typically consisting of 5 players on each side. Within the home base of each side is the Nexus, the destruction of which grants a win. Players control one of 143 different champions, each possessing a unique kit of abilities. Depending on the champion you picked and the meta of the current patch, this decision impacts where on the map you go, what items you build, what your primary role is within team fights, and, according to some, your worth as a human being. Once players learn the complexities of the game and feel confident in their ability, many choose to enter the solo queue ranked system, never to be seen again. Just kidding. But, from my own personal experience and observation, the ranked solo queue system feels a lot like going down the rabbit hole. It has the power to consume players entirely, as they spend a whole season or several seasons on the grind, trying to achieve their dream rank. Doing a little field research of my own, I asked some of my good friends what kept them coming back to the game, and this reply summed it up the best. I think there's just a fire, like any professional sport. You just want to reach that pinnacle. My question then is, what keeps the fire going, and what exactly is the role of esports in this process? To get a better understanding of what exactly is going on here, I'll be borrowing from monadic interaction theory. According to this theory, when we immerse ourselves in the video game environment, we engage in what is often referred to as suspension of disbelief. That is, we pretend that whatever we are immersing ourselves in is real in that very moment. And when we play as an avatar, if the game is captivating enough, we not only feel emotionally connected to the avatar, but we feel ourselves merging with their identity. While this explanation is commonly used to understand how we interact with role-playing games, League of Legends doesn't exactly fit the bill. Champions in the game do have their own lore, but it's not the central part of the game. This doesn't mean this form of interaction doesn't exist within MOBAs, but it does take on a slightly different form in games where esports are a factor. Players no longer merge with just the in-game avatar. Because much of the League experience is centered around esports and the ranked ladder, monadic interaction has expanded to include real-world individuals, namely esports professionals and streamers, and it seems that Riot is very aware of this process. Although Riot has claimed that its investment into esports is a way to give back to the community and give the fans what they want, that seems to be a very steep price to pay considering Riot has yet to break even on their esports investment. Another point worth considering is where all those investments are going. League of Legends and Dota 2 have almost an identical number of tournaments, and yet Dota's prize pool is 4 times bigger. The argument for Dota's massive prize pool is that it's meant to greatly reward players that truly excel at the game, which seems reasonable, so why is Riot not doing the same? Perhaps Riot's investment in esports isn't done for the sake of sportsmanship, as many of us have been quick to assume. When looking at how Riot Games chooses to structure their esports coverage, it becomes apparent that an increased amount of focus is put on the professional players themselves. Comparing footage from the Season 1 World Championships to the Season 8 Championships demonstrates this shift. Cameras once placed to show viewers the entire team are now placed on specific players. Even the Champion Select screen, which used to include a stream of the analyst desk, has been replaced with cameras pointing directly at the pros. While the analysts can still be heard in the background, they have become of secondary importance. Other games do incorporate these elements, but none of them put as much emphasis on individual players as consistently as League of Legends does. Riot's focus on both esports pros and streamers has turned them into celebrities that the community has grown to love, idolize, and attach to. Non-professional players get inspired by individuals that excel in playing a specific role or champion, attempting to copy what they have learned from their idols. By copying the strategies and playstyles of professionals, players can live out a fantasy where they are the person they look up to, or a better version of themselves, perhaps one with fame, money, and a career of their dreams. This message is echoed in the media that is published by Riot Games, specifically in their Player Spotlight series. The message? This could be you. This video of Team Echo Fox's jungler Rush talking about his journey is practically a gamer's fairy tale. Being able to quit school, play video games, and actually make money off of it? Sign me up. Now check out the description box for the spotlight on Double Lift from Team Liquid. You're telling me I can etch my name into history by playing League of Legends? That's some pretty wild stuff, but I still find myself wanting to buy into what Riot is selling. These messages also find their way into the game. Making a play that is associated with a specific professional player sometimes results in the player being nicknamed after them. For example, if you make an insane play in mid lane, your teammates might say something along the lines of, "Faker, is that you?" referring to Faker, a mid laner dubbed the best player in the world. Or maybe you've managed to destroy the enemy nexus just barely while the enemy chases you around like chickens with their heads cut off, like XPeke did at IEM in 2013, resulting in your teammates chanting XPeke in unison. This can sometimes backfire and you can get mocked in a similar fashion, but generally speaking, it's a very uplifting feeling. It motivates players to keep playing and improving, and it feeds into the fantasy of becoming a professional gamer. Game design, too, is structured around feeding this fantasy. In an interview with Fortune magazine, the Director of Research and Consumer Insights at Superdata suggested that the popularity of esports has impacted the trajectory of League's development, forcing Riot to focus on balancing the game in a way that benefits the competitive players rather than the player base as a whole. I would argue this one step further and say that Riot isn't just designing a game for professional players, but for wannabe professionals as well, and they're prepared to offer their player base the tools necessary to achieve the dream. One such tool is the built-in recording feature, cleverly launched at the start of ranked preseason in 2016. The feature gives players who would otherwise lack the skill, software, and hardware the ability to easily clip, export, and share their achievements, so that they can build their online presence, grow their brand, or watch the replays in order to learn from their mistakes and climb the ranked ladder. A key part of what makes League so immersive is that unlike games before it, where playing a video game character meant imagining ourselves as that character in the moment, League allows us to imagine something different and much more tangible. It creates a form of escapism that actually promises a small chance of attaining all the things we wish we had. Fame, money, a career we love, and the satisfaction of being truly good at something. This message is continuously pushed onto the players through media published by Riot Games, features of game design, and other players. The monadic interaction I mentioned earlier is ingrained in every part of the League experience. It goes beyond the game, and the players experience it even when they are merely spectators. On one hand, Riot's investment in esports has transformed the industry, resulting in more careers in both competitive gaming and streaming. Gaming culture has exploded and become much more mainstream as a result. On the other hand, we need to be mindful of the fact that the exploitation is part of this process. We need to be mindful of what we consume, what is being sold to us, and for what purpose. Most importantly, we need to make sure that we're the ones consuming the game and not the other way around. There's no real danger in wanting to be like this guy. Drives and motivations are healthy whether they're expressed in an online or offline environment. Just try not to end up like this guy instead.